Now, I recently did a video on a lady who'd had ovarian cancer stage 4. That was 47 years ago. She's still going strong. And I think I'd had such a good response for some of the private messages that people had sent me of those that are suffering with cancer and those that have suffered and have used this particular method. But today what I want to do is go through some alternative treatments for cancer, those that are suffering cancer. Now, I will put a disclaimer. This is not to say ignore your own oncologist, whoever's looking after you for your cancer treatment, but it's a different aspect. And I will say this as well, we're entitled as human beings to question anything any professional is doing for us, ask questions, find out, and we're also able to decide what we want to do with our own bodies. Now, this may be something that you want to look at, or it may not be, but at least the information will be out there for you to decide whether to look at this or not. Okay, so let's get on and look at some alternatives for cancer treatment. As a natural therapist, I've always looked at different ways to help the body, and I think nature can help in a tremendous way, and our own bodies can help in a tremendous way if we allow them to do so. So let's get on. Okay, so I must make it clear, first of all, that I'm a natural therapist, as I've said, and I'm not medically qualified as a doctor, oncologist, anything like that. In any event, anything you see or hear on YouTube, you really should discuss with your own doctor or whoever's looking after you. So, I believe there are some real alternatives, not just for treating but preventing cancer. So I'll go over some and give my opinion. Now, as I said, I'm not a cancer specialist doctor, but every one of us is entitled to question our own doctors and the advice we are given and discuss. If you want to try an alternative course of action, it is your right, it is your body, your life, your cancer. So the first thing is, why are bodies susceptible to cancer and how does it thrive? Now, I'm not going to go into an in-depth science lesson. There's lots out there giving scientific, long-worded answers that sometimes are there to impress themselves and massage their own egos. They're actually just trying to really go over the heads of most people that just want to get the basic facts. But we all need to have a basic understanding of how cancer operates, and that's all we need. I always liken it to switching a light on in the dark room. Do you need to know how electricity makes that happen? Not at all. All we need to know is if you press the switch, the light comes on, and press it again and the light goes off. Probably not a great analogy, but it's said that off the top of my head as thinking of things to say on this. Obviously, I've done some research. But anyway, cancer is really an uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells in the body. Cancer develops when the body's normal control mechanism stops working. And this can be for various reasons. So, old cells do not die and instead grow out of control, forming new abnormal cells. Now, you see, these extra cells may form a mass of tissue called a tumour, and some cancers, such as leukemia, do not actually form tumours. So, the scenario now for everybody with cancer, let's look at the cancer alternative treatments. Number one, in my opinion, is fasting, whether that's intermittent fasting or longer periods of fasting. Now, why does this work, or what are the principles for fasting to work? Well, it literally starves the cancer cells' ability to grow and takes their food source away. You see, when you fast, your body will revert to using its own fat stores for energy. When your sugar glucose stores have been used up, that is. You see, cancer thrives on sugar. It is its main food source. It uses, if it isn't present, cancer cells literally die. To be fair, we should cut all sugar out of our diet. It's terrible the effects it has on our bodies anyway. I will mention this about fasting, the science bit here. It can stop the mTOR growth factor for cancer cells, and it could decrease the IGF-1 growth factor, really important. That's as technical as I'm going to get on this because it isn't needed. It can stimulate all damaged proteins in the body recycling them. You could also, with fasting, generate new stem cells, which are for your immune systems. And it is your immune system that kills cancer cells. It also can stop the inflammation we have in the body. And inflammation within the body creates the perfect environment for cancer to thrive. It can also help if you're having chemotherapy by helping normal cells become more resistant to this invasive treatment. Okay, number 2. I go on about this a lot on the channel, but it's our diet has such an important role, not just in the treatment but in prevention in the first place of cancer. As I said, sugar is a feeding source for cancer cells. Now, the ketogenic diet, the basic principle is to get the body to use its fat stores for energy. A lot use this mainly for weight loss, which is great, but it can do so much more to our body and how it operates. You see, when we are eating carbs, the starchy foods, grains, they can and do create inflammation in our bodies. When you eat the ketogenic way, you're not having these carbs. You still get some through the food that you do eat, but the aim is for less than 20 grams a day. But don't complicate it by thinking how many grams and all this nonsense. Just stick to the cruciferous vegetables, the cauliflowers, broccoli, etc., meats and high fat. Now, I've lots of videos on the ketogenic diet, and before anyone thinks it's a restrictive way to eat, it isn't. Just have a look at what you can eat, not what you can't. There are lots that make this such an easy way to eat healthily. It gives the cancer-fighting foods and it reduces the glucose feeding to the cancer cells. Now, number 3 is really combining 1 and 2, the keto diet and intermittent fasting. They actually work so well together. Really, it should be part of how you eat and how you live if you want to stay healthy and fit and all the rest of it. Okay, so number 4. This is a bit more controversial, but through personal experiences of people I've known and know who use this method, it can do something to the body that defies the cancer specialists. You see, it's Cbd oil and cannabis itself. Now, there are lots on the market, and I'm sure there are lots of terrible ones that are just about making money. Unfortunately, like a lot of supplements out there for different health conditions, they're just purely about money making. So you have to be really careful which supplements you actually do buy. And the cheapest certainly aren't the best. Doesn't mean the most expensive ones are the best either. Now, the production is critical, but to save costs, a lot of these companies do anything to make the product cheaper to produce, and consequently it is less effective or not effective at all, worst case scenario. Now, results have shown that different cannabinoids can cause cell death, block cell growth, stop the development of blood vessels, which are needed for tumours to grow, reduce inflammation and reduce the ability of cancers to spread. Now, it's all very well me saying this, but this information is really from the research on cannabis and CBD oils. It needs to be a balanced view, so I've taken the details from a charity, Cancer Research UK, and my own understanding and experience on how it's helped many I've known as clients and friends. I've put the link to the Cancer Research UK article. I think it's important to have a good read of that. It gives an overview, and it's not all positive from them on it, but it does give a good overview of this, and then you can make your own minds up, your own informed choice. Just like any treatment, conventional or traditional medicine, it is your body, you decide. So, on that note, okay, so there you go, there you have it. Well, I hope you got something from that, and if anybody wants to try some alternatives, then there you have some of the information and some ways to find out the information. So, on that note, I would like to wish you all good health, take care, and hopefully see you in the next video soon. Okay, bye bye for now.